Welcome back, facilitators, to yet another PBL based learning module. And today we are going to cover grade 4 English chapter Art, a unique painting. And the concept that we are going to discuss is about identification of colors. So, before we start our module, I would like to remind you all the need and purpose of a PBL. So PBL basically allows our young learners to explore and engage themselves in skill based learning. So, with that, let's begin our module. So, the topic we are going to discuss is identification of colors, and here are the learning objectives and the learning outcomes. The learning objectives, it allows our learners to identify colors by their names, identify objects by their colors, and identify color combinations. Whereas at the end of this particular concept learning, the outcome would be that the learners would respond to simple instructions, announcements in English made in class. So let's start with a leading question, which is always followed after the learning outcome and learning objectives. So for this particular chapter, the leading question, can we change the color yellow to orange by adding another color to it? I think our young learners would come up with more questions or more thoughts. How can we see colors? Do colors have meaning? Can I change the way I feel using colors? Well, that's our young learners. So, teachers or facilitators, get prepared to answer our young learners. Moving on, activity 1, color, as they say, is the first activity. And what do you need? You need color pencils, you need the ability to recognize and pick the right colors, and you need coloring skills. So if you see on your activity sheet, you have fishes over here. Wow. Now each of these fish is talking about colors. So the fish number 1 says, I'm red and orange. So the students are going to pick up their colors, red and orange, and they are going to color the fish in red and orange. Likewise, the second fish says, I'm blue and green. So the students are going to pick up the colors blue and green, and they are going to color the fish accordingly. Likewise, you can, as facilitators, you can guide the learners to finish coloring of all the fishes till the end. And the last fish, facilitators, if you can just take a look at it, the last fish says, I am colorful. Wow, isn't it? Yes. So the learners can have some fun mixing the colors to make our beautiful fish colorful. Yes. Moving on to activity 2, name the objects and color only the yellow ones. Okay. So for this, they need a pencil, crayons or color pencils, a very good memory because they have to color the objects which is only yellow in color, and they have to name the object which is yellow in color. Yes. So to start off with, we have a cabbage, and our learners may turn up saying that the cabbage is green in color, which is true. But the following object, that is the sun, is yellow. So yes, the learners can shade the sun or color the sun in yellow and also write the name of the same. So likewise, the rest of the activity can be guided by the facilitators and completed by our learners. Activity 3, find the new color it produces and its respective name. Yes. So for this, again, our learners have to have coloring skills and the curiosity to learn about new colors formed. So if you see the sheet, the PBL sheet, it says yellow plus red gives you orange. So the learners can shade the first circle in yellow, the second circle in red, and the third, the color that produced is orange. That circle can be shaded in orange. Likewise, white, circle white, and black, the circle can be shaded in black. And what gives white and black? What is the color that we obtain is gray. So the third circle, the learners can write the word gray and shade the circle in gray. Likewise, they can finish the rest of the color and their object and their outcomes. Activity 4, which is a reading comprehension. So let's read this reading comprehension. Again, our learners should have a pencil, should keep a pencil handy. They should have a love for stories and environment and an interest to learn about the environment. So, reading passages always enhances the reading, the listening, and the writing skills of our young learners. So, let's read the passage. The colors of Chikmagalur. Kavya lived in Chikmagalur, a dull village with white houses and faded patterns. One morning she found a shiny pot with Ila, a tiny yakshini inside. I'm Ila, protector of colors, she said. Today they painted the village red for luck, yellow for happiness, green for life, and blue for peace. Chikmagalur became vibrant and joyful. Wow, isn't that amazing? I hope all our learners too have that vibrant colors in their lives. Yes? So, with that, we have following questions. The facilitators can read out the questions, and the students can reread the passage and find the correct answers. Activity 5 is questions and thoughts. Something very interesting. Now, here there are certain questions that's asked and there are the answers. Now, the learners should provide the answers for the particular question. For example, the first one, I wonder what the color of the moon is. You can always ask our learners what the color of the moon is. They can say, I think the color of the moon is gray, white, black, or any other, but the correct color of the moon is grayish. When it comes to, I wonder what the color of a jackfruit is inside all the hard covering. I think the color of a jackfruit is yellow or orange. Yes. So likewise, the learners can complete the other questions as well and fill in the answers.
Now, let's move to our creative space activity. Here, ask learners to get their color pencils out and draw something fun using all their favorite colors. Once they do, ask them to describe the drawing to their class. Here we have the self-assessment questions where learners can attempt the questions and teachers can assess if they've understood the questions clearly and if they've understood the concept given in the learning sheet clearly.
They have an OMR sheet as well. Now, for the OMR sheet, the answers from the practice sheets can be provided and bubbled in the OMR sheet. For the complete solution to all practice sheets provided at the end of each PBL, you can refer to Teachopia and the path is given below. I would say thank you so much, facilitators. Have a great learning.